If you're an AI artist, you've probably heard all of the following before at least once. Slop, art thief, or my personal favorite in its utter absurdity and narcissism, you aren't an artist. As if anyone other than your own self has the right to determine whether or not you're expressing yourself. And so you may ask yourself, why are people so vitriolic? Genuinely, it just boils down to ignorance in each and every turn. Myths spread like wildfire, and people have a natural inclination to join the herd rather than do their own research. When the general public sees a highly refined, atmospheric piece of generated art, they only see the output. They don't see the rigorous, iterative workflow behind it, the meticulous tweaking of parameters, the constant redrafting, reiterating, the compositional structuring, style isolation, hours and hours of trial and error required to hit a specific high fidelity output. They don't see any of this. It's invisible to them. And because of this, because the labor and care happen behind a screen, the assumption defaults to they just pushed a button, because it's easier for these people to understand that concept for now. Because AI, generative AI, is so new to the human zeitgeist. Human brains intuitively understand physical collaging and digital copy-pasting. We do not intuitively understand what a diffusion model is. The concept of latent space, or statistical noise reduction. It is vastly easier for a layperson to conceptualize AI as a giant malicious search engine, stitching together stolen JPEGs mathematically, and just join a hateful bandwagon than it is to understand the complicated and complex topic of what an image generating model actually is and how it works. It is an algorithm that has mathematically learned the abstract relationships between concepts and pixels. It does not copy. It does not replicate. It's like an artist getting inspiration from a piece. They are mentally trained. They learn as they look at it, and they learn how to recreate it. There's no piece of that artwork inside the new output. So no, it's not a theft machine. That's not how it works. Each output is original. Let's take Grok, for example. If XAI are using images posted on Twitter or on X as training material for Grok, that's not theft, because X is a free platform. It's free. So you are the product. You are. The content that you post there belongs to the company. So, it's in the terms of service. You're not... There's no argument here. Now, you can argue private models most likely do not have consent from the artists to train on their work or compensation or anything like that. But that's a completely separate topic. Mainstream AI models, Gemini, Grok, Copilot, they have not used anything against the terms of service of the platforms they were uploaded to. And then you might argue, well, Microsoft didn't get the rights to the content that I uploaded on Twitter, or, just for example, you don't know that. You don't know if they bought your data. You don't know if they had a deal with X and legally purchased your data, which is publicly available on the internet. You don't know that. So no, like you can't say that it's stolen. So that cat image that you lame deviant artists are getting your panties in a twist about, that got scraped by AI, your little cat image only taught the AI how to conceptualize a cat 0.00001% better. And even that's probably giving it too much credit. So that is why simple physical metaphors, even if they're entirely inaccurate, will always spread faster than objective reality. People have a natural inclination to join the bandwagon. That's just how they work. Most people, the average people, the less than intelligent people, the less than enlightened people, will join the crowd and will deliberately choose not to be educated and not to do their own research. This is provable throughout history. So until these people are properly educated, which will happen naturally over time as the technology is inevitably adopted across the world, until that happens, these people need to not be allowed to bother you. Just be yourself. Create what you want. Don't worry about them. You are an artist. Because you're creating, you're expressing. Prompts are expression. And the people who disagree with that would say that whatever their arguments boil down to, it always goes down to the process. Always, every time. The process is more important to them because they only think that a pencil, that the process of a drawing is somehow more creatively valid than the process of using an image generator, using keywords that you define, piloted by you. If you use a tool, again, to take a pencil, for example, to express yourself, you're in control of that expression. So yes, it is your expression, regardless of what you're using. If you don't think AI art is a valid expression because of the tool, then you also are making an argument against every single other type of art. It makes no sense. And so, yeah, it either boils down to them faffing about the process, or their argument boils down to the false idea of theft. And what makes it super annoying is that most of the discourse surrounding AI is very heavily shielded by emotions. People are morally and emotionally motivated to hate, rather than engaging with the ontological reality of the technology. These people hijack the debate with fallacious emotional reasoning and virtue signaling. These people, the anti-AIs, will frequently lean on appeal to consequence. Like, for example, this disrupts the market, therefore the mechanism itself is theft. Or this steals my customers, therefore this thing is bad. I'm losing commissions because of this thing, even though most people who are AI artists never would have paid traditional illustrators to help them express themselves in the first place. The vast majority of AI artists are not people who used to pay for commissions. Let that be very clear. AI democratized creation It did not replace it. It allowed more people to engage with it. Therefore, ironically, it has actually created more artists and thus created more people who may commission those artists for the unique skill set of prompting AI. And to circle back to the emotional debate, these people also rely on, again, like I said, moral panic to shut down nuanced conversation and safeguard their lack of a desire or lack of capability to learn new skills. When the foundation of an argument is emotional or moral survival instead of a dialectic, then objective and harmless, or even beneficial, reality, like generative AI, becomes treated as an attack. Because people feel personally threatened, either by the science fiction horrors that they've watched and are for some reason thinking it's reality, or because of the lies that have been peddled to them that they bought. So if it's common sense that AI is not a big bad evil thing, and that it helps a lot of people all around the world, why is the AI sentiment so popular? Social media algorithms prioritize high engagement content, and nothing drives engagement like righteous anger and clearly defined villains. This is because... I'm gonna go on a little bit of a tangent here, guys. The reason why social media is like this right now is because people currently, on average, have a tendency towards negativity rather than positivity. Social media is a reflection of the current human noosphere, the current human sphere of thought. If people are positive and uplifting and compassionate, social media will reflect that. So to those of you who quit social media, that's fine. You're absolutely in your rights to do so. But I would rather be a part of the world that I want to see, be part of the changes that I want to see, rather than give up because of others poisoning that well. But because people trend towards toxicity, social media reflects that aspect of humanity. And so a narrative that frames a new and helpful and beautiful technology as malicious, plagiarizing entity, this concept, this caricature, no matter how false or fake it is, look at that heart. Look at that heart to the left of his head, the top left. Do you see that heart in the cloud? Look at that. That's beautiful. I'll put it right above his head. Little heart. Caricaturizing AI as this malicious, plagiarizing, evil thing generates more clicks, more engagement, more shares, and collective outrage, resulting in the information that drives that content in the first place, the misinformation, to become even more propagated. And it spreads a lot faster than the academic explanations and scientific explanations of why it works the way it does and how it isn't a plagiarizing thing. Because again, as I said earlier in the video, plagiarism is more intuitively understandable for the layperson than a mathematical diffusion model. The people perpetrating this type of misinformation and like rage-inducing content may not even actually be anti-AI themselves. They just want to make money. They're just joining a trend. And if you're one of those content creators, more power to you. You're gaming the algorithm. As long as you're not being a jerk, I have a baseline amount of respect for you. As long as you're not being a jerk to anybody, because you are gaming the YouTube system. And that's valid. That's valid because that's what we all need to do to make money on here. You're fine. Again, as long as you're not being mean. Don't be mean. That's why I have huge respect for creators like Asmongold and Tectone, because they take a stand on common sense. They don't sacrifice the integrity of their character to join a bandwagon for fake clout. So, on the 0.0001% chance that either of you two are watching this video, mad respect to you guys. You're real ones. You don't sell yourselves out for internet clout. Rap god. There won't be a singular eureka moment where the internet just collectively apologizes to you and embraces the truth. The people who have wronged you, most of them, most likely, are not going to turn around, look for you, and admit they were wrong. Instead, the fiction, the misinformation, the vitriol, and yes, even the hate will slowly erode as the technology becomes boringly ubiquitous, like computers. Based on history, this is provable. Based on historical technological shifts, the normalization process, so the fading of the harassment, the education of the Luddites, will take likely between 3 to 5 years to fully cement itself. So, looking back on historical patterns like the invention of the camera, Photoshop, etc., after the onset of the technology, between 3 and 5 years, the hate should mostly die out. And then some people may argue, but Desi, it's already been 3 to 5 years. Not necessarily. AI, generative AI, has only been good enough very recently. Like within the last 6-7 months or so. 6-7. And so we still have 3 to 5 years. We still have that projected 3 to 5 years. Because remember, back in the day, like it wasn't even that long ago. It used to be just Will Smith, like a very glitchy Will Smith eating a very glitchy bowl of spaghetti. It was really funny, and people rightfully made fun of it because you couldn't express yourself with that. It just looked goofy. It didn't make sense. But now that the tool is sharp enough and reliable enough that we can pilot it to express ourselves, it's basically like the difference between using a pencil and a block of graphite. Like AI is pencils now. But it's only happened recently, so we do have to give it several years. And then people should grow up. By the way, statistically speaking, most people who are anti-AI are kids or teenagers, because it's not an informed position to have. This is provable. Prove me wrong. In the 19th century, painters aggressively campaigned against photography, again, as I said earlier, calling it a soulless mechanical process that required zero skill and merely copied reality. And if you look closely at their rhetoric, it does align very similarly to what AI artists hear today. All you did was push a button and captured reality. In the early 2000s, traditional artists leveled the exact same no-effort criticisms at digital artists using Photoshop tablets. In both cases, the moral panic didn't end because the detractors were defeated in debate, which is easy to do, by the way. It ended because the technology became indispensable, ubiquitous, a baseline tool for the next generation of creators. Hating it no longer made logical sense, and it doesn't now. It doesn't make logical sense, it makes peer pressure social baby sense to hate on AI. Anyway, the shift is already happening. Via software integration, AI tools are being baked into standard operating systems. You got Copilot for Windows. You got traditional creative suites implementing AI in very helpful ways for traditional artists. The hardline ideological stance of AI being the boogeyman is just already eroding rapidly. It's gonna become impossible to maintain at this point. People stop questioning the morality of a tool once they rely on it daily and grow alongside it. The people who swear on their hatred, who maintain a high state of toxic outrage, for those of them who aren't gonna be exhausted, who somehow live off of that toxicity, those groups will fracture off from the general rational public. The broader public will simply move on, and the hostile discourse, the hostile people attempting to enforce rigid anti-AI rhetoric will be relegated to isolated, self-contained echo chambers similar to niche cults in real life. The truth is, if you want to create things, you should just do it. Create because it makes you happy. Share it because you feel like it. Not for validation. It doesn't matter what other people think. It has never mattered, and it will never matter. Because the goal of an artist is to express their heart, not to have it be validated for them because it already is valid. And that's not to say that you are not valid in searching for validation. Okay? Your search for validation is valid, but you need to find that inside yourself. I can extend my hand to you. I can tell you you're not wrong, that you're doing it right, and that I'm proud of you. But only you can carry that into your heart and champion it into reality. If you do not champion who you are, and you get thrown off of your horse by the words of hecklers, you're never going to make it. Because no one has the right to judge the worth, the value, or the validity of your self-expression. It's you. You do not deserve to be invalidated. Just make what you want to make. So, to those of you AI artists who have clicked on this video, you are pioneers of a bleeding edge of a new form of technology and human expression. Right now, we are at a point in history where vitriol will be at its harshest and misinformation is at its highest. None of it is your fault. You, the creator, the artist, who wants nothing more than to express themselves artistically. Do not let anyone guilt you for using a teaspoon of water for a cute picture. Don't let them oppress you for wanting to share what fulfills you. Be yourself, express yourself, and champion your chosen medium without fabricated shame. You're doing right, and I'm proud of you. I dedicate this video to all of you who take a stand against misinformation and narcissism and gatekeeping by the scared, ignorant masses by continuing to fearlessly share your work. And I dedicate this video to Valkalia, who I arrived too late into this art scene to protect or to guide. Don't let anyone grab your wrist, stop you from painting, and tell you this isn't worth it, or that this is wrong, because only you can decide that for yourself.